Namaste and welcome to Magic Vibrations Healing School. My name is Demian Haye and today I would like to share a message for the summer solstice of June 2020. So the last days, it was the solstice. For some people it was a summer solstice and for some people it was the winter solstice, obviously. And this solstice is a really important moment, and at the same time we had an eclipse, a solar eclipse, the ring of fire in Cancer, and it was a new moon, so it was a really powerful portal we were going through. And in most of the traditions, we say that this solstice, because it is a time that the sun is the closest from the earth, that we receive more light from the sun on earth. And this light is like a blessing. It's like a wave of love from the solar logos, the intelligence of the sun, of the galactic sun. And because we are receiving more light, it is an appropriate moment to pray and to hold visions within our awareness. So this is why so many teachers were asking us to envision a collective, clear picture of what we wish for all realms of creation. So it's always great to have clarity about our vision. You know, it's like planting a seed. It's like birthing a dream into a reality. But I was reflecting on this as I was trying to refine the vision, the dream that I wish for all of us and for all realms of creation. And what came to me is that, you know, it's like gardening. It's not because I plant a seed that the seed sprouts, that, you know, it grows and it gives a plant that will yield fruits. So many things can happen. Maybe the seed is corrupted from the beginning. You know, maybe it will not even sprout, or maybe the soil will not be rich enough. Maybe some pests, animals, disease can come. And there is no guarantee that the seed that I plant will grow and, you know, thrive and give the fruits, vegetables, flowers that I wish it to give. So it's the same with our visions. It's the same. Whatever I dream, you know, whatever vision I hold in my awareness, I'm not sure, you know, that this vision will be validated and then burst into reality, into the material plane. And the question that came to me is, again, is in the question we already discussed. It's what energy, what influence, who is actually dreaming this seed? Who is planting the seed? You know, because it can be so many different things, yeah? It comes always from a good intent, you know, this intention that, you know, we want harmony and peace and love on earth. And the same for the garden, you know, we plant a seed because, you know, we want nature to thrive. But most of the time you have other energies that are there, you know, and whatever we dream, it doesn't necessarily come from a pure heart, because there is an hidden agenda there. There is a drive, a motivation that is not necessarily unconditional love. Yeah. So for example, when I plant a seed in the garden, sometimes it's just that I'm focusing on the harvest, on, you know, using, eating, enjoying personally the plant that will grow. I'm not necessarily planting a seed just for the sake of it or for the beauty of the act of planting a seed. And when I dream, it's the same, you know. So for example, it's easy to dream a reality, a world with, you know, love, compassion, communion of people, brotherhood, sisterhood, truth, and sustainability, and so on. You know, this is like the virtuous, harmonious picture that everybody dreams of. But why? You know, and what and why do I want to dream this? Yeah, the forces that are behind it, there can be so many different things. For example, it can be fear. It means that because I'm afraid to experience more disharmony or war or, you know, like conflicts, I dream this, but it comes maybe from fear, the fear of experiencing, something that I don't like. It can come as well from greed. Greed because I lack love, for example, I lack harmony in my life, and I wish for more. This is greed. And many of us, when we dream, we are not necessarily questioning the real drive that is behind it, behind our actions. And it's the same for everything that we do in life. We act through an impulse. We are telling ourselves a story that, it's great and it's a good idea and anyway it cannot harm. But at the end, the forces, the influences behind us, these are the ones that, will feed and that will harvest whatever we plan, whatever we seed, whatever we wish to birth. So I invite you to reflect on this, because in this time of the solstice, I believe that the ring of fire of the eclipse was all about this. It was to clear this attachment, these connections, this slavery to these egregores and forces that are driving, manipulating, and that are behind most of humankind actions. Looking for recognition, the fear of lacking, not having abundance, or greed, and with all the ego things that come with it, or fear of love. And it rarely comes actually from something really selfless and non-interested. So I invite you to reflect on this. Now, when I want to dream something, when I want to materialize a vision, what is it? This is the ancient art of magic. Magic is the art of bringing a vision into the material plane, and it's a really ancient art. And I'm speaking here about high magic, because you have many grades and levels in magic. The ancient art of high magic is the art of disappearing and reappearing, like the magician, the magus. And this is a really important art. What does it mean? It means that when I come into this sacred space to pray and to offer my vision to the universe, that's because I want it to manifest. When I stepped into the sacred space, it's either I remain within my body, and then all these forces that are connected to me, they are behind it, and they kind of motivate and drive the vision, and then probably it gets stolen in the sense that it's an usurpation. The harvest of my dream will go back to the intelligence, the force that drove me in the first place to hold this vision. So the good magician, the high magician that practices high magic, he disappears. What does it mean? It means you have to step out of your own way. You have to step out of your being, of your ego, to let the space, the container, the vessel that you are for the divine grace to come. And when we step out of the way, once we are stepping into our sacred space, we allow archetypes, divine energies, and mostly virtues to come in and to be embodied in our being. And these virtues, then they express themselves. And this is gracious. This is grace speaking. This is grace praying, inviting a vision. This is not us. It's not, all these lower frequencies, energies that we are still, that we know it or not, connected to. So we have to give space and to step aside to allow these virtues to come in so that we can pray. And once we pray, once the vision is expressed from really a pure heart, from a higher version and a higher virtuous part of self, then we need to reappear, to step back into our body, because then our role, our purpose is to follow through, it's to nourish, to feed the vision and into its manifestation. It means that we need to align our acts, our words, our thoughts, so that this vision can be nourished and that the soil can be rich enough, and that we will take care of this sapling, this little plant that starts to sprout and to grow, like you would do in a garden. You have to be present. You have to be responsible if you really want this plant, this seed to grow, to thrive, and then eventually to yield fruits. So the art of praying, mostly in this moment like the solstices or the equinoxes, it's truly an art to disappear and to reappear. It's to become impersonal. If I step aside, I become impersonal, I become an empty cup, a vessel, like a holy grail that I can receive the divine grace, higher virtues that express and that can speak to all realms of creation, and it can be heard, because it's not human, it's higher, it's more subtle, it's more refined. And once it is expressed, I step back into my body, and then I take the responsibility to nourish, feed, take care of the unfolding of this vision. So this is the high magic, and I believe that it is something that we need to learn again. Yeah, you have many grades of magic. If I do something from self-interest or for a personal agenda, it is not anymore high magic, because I do it for me, and whatever I do for me, it is a birth in the world of entropy. It is a birth in a world that goes to nothingness, to death, yeah, to decay. So whatever I create would just decay and slowly disappear. It will not remain, it will not last. When I step aside and I allow virtue to come in and to pray for something higher, for all realms of creation, and there is no hidden personal agenda or self-interest, then maybe I can reach a higher realm, a higher range, a higher reach. And maybe my vision that went through me, so somehow it's mine, but it's not mine, but it's mine because I allowed it. I was a bridge. Maybe this vision will go out of the entropic realms, and maybe it will reach something where it will sustain itself, expand, so that it will survive, that it will thrive and keep on expanding, because it will be alive. You see, when we plant seeds, if we do it connected with an egregor, an influence that belongs to the world of entropy and death and decay, it will yield nothing. It is temporary. It's a creation that will just vanish and disappear like everything. But if it comes from a higher intelligence, if it comes from the higher mind, if it comes from a virtue that is beyond me, that I simply resonate with, then it can reach the realms of life, and I can give birth to a world that is a living memory, a living entity. And this living entity will go beyond my death. It will go beyond the decay. It will go beyond entropy. So when we are in this moment like the solstice or the equinox, and it's a moment really to pray and hold visions within us, I believe it is extremely important to remember this and to be like a magician, a high magician, to step into our sacred space, to step aside and allow higher virtues to come in and to pray, like with grace, like a piece of art, like something dedicated to the divine, to the highest quality of love, and then to step back and nourish, take care this vision. Like if, you would be pregnant, and that in your womb you would have this divine child that you have to take care, and it's such a responsibility and it's such a blessing to have this vision. So I wanted to share with you this reflection as we are now going through these few months where the light from the solar logos is really strong on the earth. So our visions have more food, have more light. It is easier to connect with this radiance. So I wish everybody a happy solstice, and I wish you to truly learn the ancient art of disappearing and reappearing, becoming impersonal and then becoming like an individuality again, with accountability and responsibility. This is a really subtle art, but this is the true art of prayer from higher virtues, prayers that will be heard by all realms of creation. Prayers that are blessings for the nature, for the father, for the mother, for all of us. And it is beyond being human. It is beyond the form of creation. It is coming from a sacred space within us that is eternal. and it is a prayer that ripples back to eternity. Thank you.